um, SONA ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos. Ito muna yung pagpapalit ng AFP General o Commander at yung retirement ceremony ni General Romeo Brawner Jr. noong 21 July 21, 2026. So naganap ito sa Camp Aguinaldo sa Quezon City. So panoorin muna natin ito habang naghihintay ng oras ng SONA ni President Marcos.
We are pleased to announce the arrival of the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief Armed Forces of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. We shall have the arrival honors.
Sala, kalis. Tanghal. Kalipunan, pinuno at kawal. Tanghal. Mga kalipunan, tanghal. Ta! Kalipunan, baba. Ta! Da, dala, kalis. Baba! Ta! Mahal na Pangulo, tapos na po ang parangal. Mga kasama, malugod na ating panauhing pandangal, His Excellency President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President, Republic of the Philippines, and Commander of Chief of Armed Forces of the Philippines, ang kanyang taus-pusong pasasalamat sa pangal na iginawad natin sa kanya ngayong araw. Baba, kalis.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. You may now be seated.
Harap sa kanan. Up! Kanang balikat. Ka! Pasulong. Kan!
Well, in a few moments, we'll have the entry information of the troops for this ceremony. We shall begin with the ceremony. We have just heard the sound of the attention call. This signals the entry of the troops for the ceremony. It has been said that the desire to serve one's country is among the noblest qualities of a person can possess. One of the highest expressions of this calling is service in the noble profession of arms. The life of a soldier, such a vocation demands unwavering commitment, steadfast dedication, and selfless involvement. Today we gather with deep gratitude to pay tribute through a testimonial review. A man who has devoted more than 4 decades of faithful service to the noble profession of arms. Significantly, the military parade is a time-honored tradition that showcases the discipline, precision, and professionalism of soldiers through close order drill and marching. While military parades once reflected battlefield formations used in combat until the late 19th century, they have evolved into ceremonial displays that honor military heritage, excellence, and national pride. A mass parade also symbolizes the strength, unity, and readiness of a nation's armed forces. It brings in a display of discipline and esprit de corps, often accompanied by military bands, precision drill teams, and the ceremonial lowering of the national flag at the close of the day. It is an occasion for inspection, recognition, and the celebration of exemplary service. While military parades were once associated with battlefield formations, in contemporary times they have evolved into ceremonial events that encompasses every aspect of military drill. They showcase precision drill teams, military bands, troop formations, and ceremonial displays of military equipment, highlighting the discipline, professionalism, and traditions of the armed forces. Today, this occasion is therefore more than a ceremonial gathering. It is a parade held to commemorate a significant milestone, an event worthy of remembrance and recognition. Isang parada na handog bilang pagpupugay at pagpaparangal sa isang natatanging lingkod bayan at leader, General Romeo Saturnino Brawner Jr. Has touched countless lives and whose service has reached the farthest corners of our archipelago. He has dedicated the prime years of his life to protecting our nation and serving the Filipino people with honor, integrity, and unwavering commitment. As he concludes an extraordinary military career, he leaves behind a legacy of exemplary leadership, selfless service, and enduring inspiration for future generations of leaders. As we hold this ceremony, we have a division size of troops to tender the parade. The 1st Brigade in gala attire consists of the Philippine Army, Philippine Navy, and the Philippine Air Force. 2nd Brigade is comprised of troops in their distinctive battle dress attire from the Special Operations Forces of the Philippine Army, Philippine Navy, and the Philippine Air Force. Over the years, as the global and national socio-political landscape has continued to evolve, bringing with it new challenges and emerging threats, the Armed Forces of the Philippines has remained steadfast in transforming itself. While preserving its time-honored traditions, it has embraced meaningful reforms to ensure that it remains relevant, responsive, and mission-ready in a rapidly changing world. The Armed Forces of the Philippines has long stood as the Filipino people's staunchest defender and protector against all threats to national security, steadfastly guided by the principles of justice, rule of law, and unwavering patriotism. It has consistently demonstrated its commitment and dedication, tempered with compassion, in protecting the people and safeguarding the nation, especially during times of crisis and adversity. It's responsive and ever ready to serve wherever they are needed, whether in communities, hinterlands, or the farthest reaches of the countryside. As the Armed Forces of the Philippines continue to fulfill its constitutional mandate amid an evolving security landscape, its enduring has been further reinforced under the leadership of General Romeo Saturnino Brawner Jr. Anytime, anywhere, and whatever the situation may demand, the soldier, the airman, the sailor, and the marine will always stand ready to serve with courage, honor, and selfless dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, a representation of your armed forces protecting the people and securing the state. Welcome to the change of command of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and retirement ceremony in honor of General Romeo S. Brawner Jr., 60th Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines. The troop commander for this afternoon ceremony is Major General Ronald J. S. Alcuja, Commander, Reserve Command, Philippine Army. wait lang.
Kalukunan, Punto, kapakamay. Na,
Please be seated.
baba! Ta!
The troop commander will present the troops for inspection.
Ginoo, handa na po ang mga sampanaw upang libutin.
The Honoree General Romeo Brawner Jr. will inspect the troops. He'll be accompanied by the military host, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Of military men and committed to continuing a legacy of service and sacrifice of his ancestors. A strong and decisive servant leader known for his professionalism, dedication, and commitment to the defense of the Philippines, he took the helm of the Armed Forces of the Philippines as its Chief of Staff on July 21, 2023, after serving as the 65th Commanding General of the Philippine Army on December 10, 2021. A proud the Philippine Military Academy Macatao class of 1989, he graduated salutatorian and was a baron or regimental commander of the Cadet Corps. He exemplified highest levels of excellence in military schoolings, graduating number 1 in the Forces Intelligence Officer Corps, the AFP Controllership course. He obtained 3 master's degrees, Master's in Information Management from Ateneo de Manila University or Ateneo de Manila Graduate School of Business, Master's in Business Administration from Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand, and from European School of Management, Oxford, United Kingdom, and Master's in Strategic Studies from the United States Army War College. In March 2023, General Brawner was inducted into the U.S. Army War College International Fellows Hall of Fame. He also demonstrated the finest ideals of servant leadership in previous designations as Company Commander of the 6th Special Forces Company, Battalion Commander of the 2nd Special Forces Battalion, Brigade Commander 103rd Infantry Brigade during the aftermath of the Marawi Siege in 2017, and Commandant of Cadets of the Philippine Military Academy, wherein he played an important role in eradicating hazing and maltreatment in the Cadet Corps. Later, he served as the first Deputy Chief of Staff for Financial Management J10 of the AFP, served as the commander of the 4th Infantry Division, wherein he supervised the unit's combat operations that resulted in the decisive neutralization of George Madlos Orca Oris, the commander of the National Operations Command of the New People's Army. Our honoree is a recipient of numerous awards, noteworthy to mention Philippine Legion of Honor, Outstanding Achievement Medal, Distinguished Service Star, Silver Cross Medal, the Gold Cross Medal, the Bronze Cross Medal, and the Lapu-Lapu Award. The Outstanding Philippine Soldiers in he also received the Outstanding Philippine Soldiers or TOPS. In 2022, he was conferred by His Majesty the King of Malaysia the Honorary Award of the Malaysian Armed Forces Order for Valor, Gallant Commander during the fostering of the bilateral relations between the Philippine Army and the Malaysian Armed Forces. Ladies and gentlemen, our honoree is happily married to Mrs. Melody Mariel Valeros Brawner, and they're blessed with 3 children, Kiel Cerise Romeo III and his wife Micah, together with their first granddaughter, Marina Aurora. and their youngest child, Krista Zuriel. Ladies and gentlemen, the 60th Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romeo Brawner Jr. Please be seated. In a short while, we'll have the presentation of award to the outgoing Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Ang taong pararangalan at ang mga watawat, pumarap at pumagitna. Cut!
Awards and decorations are major proofs of noble acts, display of skills, competence, and excellence. The presentation of award is an acknowledgement for the exceptional performance rendered, especially in the military service. Pasulong! Cut!
Nag-long sleeve daw, yung sani.
The award to be presented is the Philippine Legion of Honor degree of Chief Commander. This award is being presented to the officers of the armed forces for meritorious and exceptional service rendered to the country and the Filipino people. The honoree is requested to join the color detail on the ground.
Mahal na Pangulo, ang taong pararangalan at ang mga watawat, naririto na po. Tanghal!
Please rise for the honors to the nation.
Magiliw, peras ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pa sisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa maglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati't pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
The guests may be seated.
Baba!
The honoree is requested to come up the grandstand for the presentation of award. As we proceed with the presentation of award, the Chief Presidential Protocol, Ms. Rachel P. Quinones, Chief of the Presidential Protocol and Presidential Assistant on Foreign Affairs, will read the citation.
The citation reads as follows. Be it known to all men by these presents that I, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, in recognition of his exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service, rendered in a position of major responsibility, as the 60th Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, from 21 July 2023 to 21 July 2026, for his firm resolve and commitment in effectively guiding the AFP into optimizing its core competencies in performing its mandate on a unified and multi-domain approach to enhance readiness against evolving threats. For his significant contributions to internal security operations, including the employment of the various competencies of the major services. For advancing efforts towards strengthening the AFP's alliances and cooperation with other countries through bilateral and multilateral engagements, and enhancing the country's territorial defense posture by sustaining a strong and visible maritime and air presence across its territorial waters and exclusive economic zone. For enhancing institutional efficiency, strengthening command and control structures, and aligning the AFP force structure with evolving operational and strategic requirements. For his initiative in launching the communication plan Mulat to awaken the Filipino people and the international community, combat misinformation, and counter the malign influence of external threats regarding the West Philippine Sea. For his demonstrated commitment to the core values of the Philippine Army in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And for earning the respect and admiration of the Philippine government and the Filipino people through his remarkable achievements, have caused to be inscribed in the roster of the Philippine Legion of Honor, the name of General Romeo S. Brawner Jr., Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, with the rank of Punong Comandante, or Chief Commander, done in the city of Manila this 21st day of July, in the year of our Lord 2026.
We would like to request Mrs. Melody Mariel V. Brawner, ma'am, to join the honoree and assist the awardee. His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is requested for the presentation of award to be assisted by Secretary Gilberto C. Chodoro Jr., Department of National Defense. Please stand as we witness the presentation of award. Well, congratulations to General Romeo Brawner Jr., sir. A big hand for the 60th Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Thank you very much to His Excellency. You may now all be seated.
Cut. Oh.
dito kasi, Webes sa Danilura din yan. Webes, Viernes.
We shall now proceed with the change of command ceremony. Everyone is enjoined to stand for the invocation to be officiated by the Most Reverend Bishop Oscar Jaime S. Florencio, Doctor of Divinity, Military Ordinariate of the Philippines.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Almighty God. Almighty ever-loving God, we gather before your divine majesty with hearts filled with gratitude and reverence, acknowledging that every season of leadership, every chapter of service unfold under the providence of your loving hand. On this solemn and historic occasion, we offer you our profound thanksgiving for the life, leadership, and faithful stewardship of General Romeo Brawner Jr., Philippine Army, whose years of dedicated service to the armed forces of the Philippines and to our beloved nation have been marked by honor, integrity, courage, and wavering commitment to the common good. Through the many burdens and responsibilities entrusted to him, you have sustained him with wisdom, fortitude, and fidelity to duty. May the noble legacy he leaves behind continue to inspire generations of soldiers to serve with competence, compassion, and patriotism. As one chapter draws to a close, another begins. We recognize the continuity of leadership is not merely an institutional necessity, but a sacred trust. We humbly beseech you to pour forth your abundant blessings upon the newly appointed Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Antonio G. Navarrete, Philippine Army. Endow him with the gifts of prudence and discernment. Grant him the moral courage to uphold truth and justice, and strengthen him with the spirit of selfless service, that he may lead with wisdom, humility, and steadfast devotion to God, country, and the Filipino people. May his command foster unity, professionalism, and a renewed commitment of safeguarding the sovereignty, dignity, and the peace of our republic. We humbly invoke your blessings upon our esteemed guest of honor, His Excellency President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Endow him with wisdom, discernment, and steadfast resolve as he leads our people toward a future founded upon justice, peace, and inclusive progress. May the aspirations of a bagong Pilipinas, a nation renewed in spirit, strengthened by solidarity, and inspired by a shared commitment to the common good, take a deeper root in the hearts of every Filipino. Grant that this vision may not simply be an agenda for our time, but a continuing moral enterprise where integrity triumphs over indifference, service prevails over self-interest, and hope overcomes division. Lord, remind us that the true greatness is measured not by power, but by service, not by personal acclaim, but by fidelity to duty and love of country. As we commemorate the accomplishment of the past and embrace the promise of the future, grant us the grace to carry forward the virtues exemplified by our leaders, nurturing